Clan versus Clan is currently active, which means for a player like me, where most of the things that you really want to do, you have to wait until Clan versus Clan, like summoning champions, upgrading them with books, ascending gear, all of these things we have to wait for Clan versus Clan. We are free to do it today. So I am getting Kaja the Rye, Timit, and we are going to be booking and looking at some champions for this video. We also have a little bit of news to talk about in terms of some turn-based tournament events where you can get yourself some of the champions that you need for the Lady Mikage fusion. And I kind of want to do a bit of an overview on whether or not it was actually worth going for Kaja and Timit. So you can see right now I've got both of them at 100 fragments. I finished the artifact enhancement this morning during Clan versus Clan, so we can summon both of them. I want the extra bonus that I talked about in a few videos ago. They have said it can wait till the 12th, but I figured I might as well pull it during Clan versus Clan because there'll probably be a summon rush this weekend anyway, and this gives me the most amount of points, and I can get closer to that personal reward. So we're going to pull it right now, and then we're going to basically book some of them, and hopefully we can be efficient with the booking and get where we want to be. So let's summon Kaja the Rye first. She is the sort of reviver support based champion to go with the pairing. We put it out, we get 30,000 points, 10,000 for a brand new one, and 20,000 for a legendary. And then we're also going to pull Timit the Fool. Normally I'd wait and hold these for a very long time, but I want that extra bonus. We get an extra legendary book. I don't actually know when we get the bonus. Maybe we get it straight away. We'll find out in this video. So we've got both of them now, which is really cool. That's great. We can see them all in their glory if we scroll down here past all of the champions that I own, get past all the food. There they are. Kaja the Rye, Timit the Fool. They're really good. So just a bit quick overview of what they do together. I know I've talked about it before. If we have Timit the Fool with Kaja the Rye, we get a full cleanse, not just 2 random. She also has some revival interactions, and we also get Timit the Fool gets a heal when she A1s, and Timit the Fool also guarantees that she doesn't lose turn meter when it tries to get reduced, and she also gains that herself. So that's kind of cool. Then we have Timit the Fool here. If Kaja the Rye is on the team, we get this provoke element of his passive, where when an enemy skill does not activate because they're under fear or true fear, so if the fear actually applies, then we get a provoke. I misread this in one of my other videos and it was kind of confusing, but essentially if the fear proc doesn't stop the enemy from taking a turn, he gets turn meter. If it does, he gets provoke. That's the way I believe it works. It's a bit of a mind bender to read. Kaja the Rye would activate this ability if she's reviving, and then if there are no enemies with active buffs, Kaja the Rye will make sure Timit gets a guaranteed extra turn, irrelevant of those buffs, right? Irrelevant of anything. He always gets those. So he gets far less from Kaja the Rye. Kaja the Rye gets far more from him. So they are kind of a pairing. I've kind of likened Kaja the Rye to an alternative to Duchess if you don't have her. You kind of lose the defensive capabilities of Duchess, and you lose the increased attack, but you gain a little bit more turn meter, and you also gain a cleanse. But they kind of do the same thing, right? You can't use this revive unless there are dead enemies. So I kind of likened it to, if you don't have Duchess, then potentially you could use Kaja the Rye as a replacement for her in that kind of role, but a little bit less defensive, a little bit more turn meter agency. Timit the Fool is basically here for this 3-turn decrease buff duration, so you basically can strip buffs constantly. So let's take them into the tavern. Let's max them up, and let's do some play testing with them. Normally you should wait for a champion training tournament. I should probably wait until tomorrow. We'll wait until tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't have unlimited resources. I don't have any sort of content creator perks personally, so I have to play the game exactly like you guys. And I do hate making level 60 champions, but we kind of send them here today. That doesn't really matter for the champion training event. So we unlock everything, and we can obviously book them because it's a champion training event, not a tournament, so that isn't going to prohibit us. We also want to ascend a couple of other champions here as well. So there we go. We can ascend this. Are we going to run out of potions? We are, so we're going to have to burn some silver, or we're going to actually have to go and farm some silver because we have none after the artifact enhancement, which is painful. Everything costs silver in this game. So I'm going to go farm some silver, and then we're going to jump back into the video. So we have a little bit of silver. I've actually just decided when I was farming that I'm probably going to do the full play test for these champions in another video. Once I've got them all maxed out and I've got them booked up and I've got them mastered, so we can really see the full value. I think if I try to play test them today, we'll end up in a situation where half the content doesn't really make sense, or it's scuffed, or it's not. But in terms of booking, we can discuss a little bit what you want to do with the books if you've pulled your Timit and Kaja today. realistically, the A1 doesn't matter. The problem with Timit in terms of a damage dealer, they didn't give him any damage percentages on his two AoEs. So what you actually have is a situation where he won't ever match someone like a Magnar for damage, because they'll always have 20 or 30% on them because of the booking situation. So that makes his A1 far less valuable in terms of damage as well, because you're probably not going to build Timit to be your primary nuker, but you do want the cooldowns. So I would definitely say with Timit, you want to try and get these 2 cooldowns down. I would definitely say with Kaja the Right, you definitely want to get these 2 cooldowns down as well, because 20% on a 3-turn cooldown is really good. A revive on a 4-turn cooldown is also good. But again, the A1, the heal is nice, but you're not there for damage. The heal isn't that significant because it's only 10% of the target's HP, not her HP. So it's not going to be that significant, and there's no books on the passive. So if you can be super efficient, you only really need 8 legendary books to set the pairing up. If you can avoid the A1, that's the challenge here. Now, I've got 18 books. It's clan versus clan, so we're going to book them. Now, what I would suggest you do, and I don't know if you know this about the tip, but generally, when you book things, they like to stick to the same skill. So if I use 2 books here, 9 times out of 10, it will book the same skill on both 2 of those books. It's a bit of a, I don't know if it's an intended feature, but I always tend to, if I'm trying to book things in a pairing like this, do 2 at a time. So you see, if I use 2 of these, it both went on that A1. Really unlucky there. We're going to switch to Kaja to the Right. We're going to alternate this. But if I try and do 2 here, both went on the A1. We're not actually being efficient for some reason. The game hates us. Can we get better? So it split that time. But we did get one of the cooldowns. I would say Kaja to the Right is more important to book. There we go. And now we just basically need 1 book on this A3. And it went on the A4. So this was really super efficient. We basically wasted 4 legendary books. Not much you can do about that. It is what it is. So now we can basically go back over to Timit the Fool. We need to book this. Again, we're going to do it 2 at a time. It did split that time. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does like to lean towards 1 skill. And now all of my theory isn't applying because it's spreading across. It's doing exactly the same thing. So it looks like it's going to eat all of my books, which is really painful. But there you go. We could have done it in 8 books. It's cost us, in essence, 16 books, but that is painful. The other one that I really want to book at the moment is Supreme Kale, if we can find him in here, if we go by rarity. Supreme Kale is a champion I pulled when I was out in Vegas. I was hoping to fully book him. We've run out of books, unfortunately, so we're going to have to just wait another clan versus clan because they cost me so many books. So we're really hoping that pairing is going to pay off. We do have another one we want to book, which is, if you don't know about it, Madman. We are working on Madman. I will probably have a video on it trying to find the best balance for Madman, but I'm going to fully book him as well. It's clan versus clan. This is 3 points. I've got loads of rare books. We might as well do it. He's fully booked. And the last one that I want to book is Glen Spear. Now, this is another champion I'm looking to play test at some point. Because of this A1, we get an extra chance to attack if it's under weaken. I think it could do quite a considerable amount of damage. So normally with uncommons, you would just try to pull the uncommons. But for the sake of some points here, we might as well just use the rare books. I have so many of them, I'm not really that concerned. So we'll just throw that out there. So that's kind of the books done. The other thing I wanted to talk about in this video, now that we're not play testing the 2 champions until probably tomorrow's video, the video after, is the Lady Mikage fusion is a permanent fusion. And they are doing turn-based attack tournaments over the next few days. They often do this now in between fusions where they'll put like turn-based attack tournaments on where you can actually get some really like better rewards than normal for those dungeons. Sometimes in certain dungeons, it's actually better than the standard dungeons in terms of resource usage because you can do it really fast with low turn count and actually get it done quicker. What they're doing this time is they're giving you a rare. And we don't know for certain if it's going to be on the right-hand side, but I'm going to assume that because it's a rare champion, it will be on the right-hand side, not the win. If this was like a guaranteed epic or guaranteed legendary, then I would imagine it will be in the win. You know, you'd have to win the tournament. I'm like 80% confident that you'll just need to basically complete the side rewards. It might be just a little bit higher than normal. And if you look at the news, if you haven't restarted the game, they have talked about Singles Day. I don't really know why we're calling it Singles Day, but they're going to give you one for every single rare that you need to create your own Lockwine. So Risk Arm is going to be for Spider. Dragon is going to be starting on Friday for Trugor. Then Sunday, we're going to have Castigator for Ice Golem. And Lumberer is going to be in the Finite Tournament on Tuesday the 14th. Which means probably by the end of that, I would say we're going to have some information about an update, and we will have a new fusion by the end of these events. That's kind of like what they do. They basically shove a bunch of different summoning events and turn-based tournaments to basically drain your resources between a sort of fusion event. So if you are looking to get some of these rares, I know rares sometimes are quite easy to acquire, but actually most of us at a high-end level kind of like feed most of our rares. So you can see I've managed to get a Trugor recently. Castigator's fully awakened, so I probably would keep that when I'd rather have a duplicate. And I've been able to get a few of these Void rares recently as well. But I actually never had any of these rares when they released this fusion because I fed them all. So this is actually a good opportunity for you to spend less shards to get the champions you want. Some people might already have them because they pulled on ×2 ancients or whatnot, and you basically got a load of ancient shards pulled. But if you haven't, this is probably a pretty good way to do it. And I would imagine there'll be other good rewards on there as well. So don't miss out on those champions if you want to try and get the Lady Mikage completed. Don't miss out on your extra bonus from Timit the Fool and Kaja the Rye. If you've got it, don't miss out on those. Good luck in your clan versus clan. You can see we've pulled the 70 million point Oblivion. So we're kind of in a bit of a rough spot at the moment. It doesn't look good very much. If you look like we're only 1 day, 16 hours left, and they've already put 1.8 million in Spider, 1.7 million in Champion objectives. So it looks bleak right now for our clan versus clan. But if you're going for it, good luck. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.